Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Chat About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you to everyone who's joined me already. I really couldn't do this without you. So, major cope has actually been going on in Doctor Who. Oh my goodness. There was the Edinburgh TV Festival that happened this week, and the BBC bosses were there, as were Disney. And, well, they were asked some questions, and of course, naturally, they have been defending the show. They've probably been told exactly what to say. And, well, let's just say, coping, it really doesn't get any better than what we've seen already this week with the Acolyte and, of course, Snow White. By the way, do make sure that you check out my videos on those. I have covered those to quite intensely. And there will be a video on the Acolyte as well tomorrow. So please be sure to check those out. So this is from TV Zone. I've actually screen capped it because it's easier to read it this way for me personally with my dyscalculia, but also it's quite a glitchy website and they've yet to sort that out. So Doctor Who BBC bosses praise series season 2 and Disney deal. Speaking at the annual Edinburgh TV Festival this week, BBC bosses have spoken about Doctor Who following the conclusion of its first full season produced in partnership with the Disney Plus. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be with Disney Plus. No one proof checked this article, obviously. So, yes, this partnership, well, how well is that going? Well, I don't think it's going down very well at all. It got Disneyfied, let's just put it like that. In 2022, it was announced that the BBC had partnered with Disney branded television to transform Doctor Who into a global franchise for the UK audiences and the rest of the world under the vision of returning showrunner Russell T Davies. And of course, that also comes with Bluey, from what I understand. Now, set Bluey aside. If they're trying for world global dominance, they tried that once before with a 1996 TV movie and it didn't work. UK audiences loved it so much so that you could have actually probably bought the series back, and the US audiences didn't like it as much. So why would you try something again? Well, because quite frank, BBC, I reckon, if Disney hadn't have actually put this money in, BBC probably would have also dropped it. And a lot of people aren't happy with the BBC at the moment. It's like a swear word, actually, in my industry. Speaking at the BBC Spotlight session at the festival and responding to a question from TV Zone, that's literally what it says. BBC Chief Content Officer Charlotte Moore said Doctor Who has done so well for young audiences. We were just delighted. It's actually part of iPlayer's growth for younger audiences, which has been a phenomenon this year. We have just announced the new spin off, The War Between. Right, half the title there missing, which is very exciting. We're very excited about season 2, which Lindsay and I have been watching, and it's going to be fantastic. Look, it's been a great collaboration, and we're really enjoying it. It's a great ride to be on. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's a great ride to be on, having Disney mess around with our franchise. And for those who say Disney is not involved, if they're putting money into it, they're having a say in it. Okay, believe me, I've worked with production companies. I know what happens. There will be a say. There will definitely be a say. But I just want to address one statement here. Doctor Who has done so well for young audiences. Okay, so on the sense sphere, and I think in one of my past videos as well, I might have actually covered this, but I know I've definitely covered this on the sense sphere with Brendan. Done so well for young audiences. He has stats, he has figures, he has the numbers, he's got those figures. And I tell you something, it wasn't doing well with young audiences. They were saying, they were aiming for that, the really, really young audiences that they wanted to really, get involved into Doctor Who, the iPad generation type of audience. That's what they were after. They didn't get it. So they moved it up an age bracket. It still didn't work. And then they moved it up to an age bracket that I am like just 2 years out of. I'm a millennial. I can remember watching on VHS at a friend's house Earthshock and the Twin Dilemma. Those two videos were my introduction to Doctor Who. I can remember watching classic back when I was a kid. So, even though this last series was absolute drivel, I was pretty much on board to watch at least some of it so that I could, see what it was going to be like under the guise of Disney. And it was a hot mess. But I wasn't chased away. You didn't need to actually grab my attention. There are lots of millennials that still have your attention, and even the generation that followed after me. Now, of course, Disney were there as well. This is from Gizmodo, but it was originally via Deadline. Disney still remains hopeful about its Doctor Who deal. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Liam Keelan, Disney's senior vice president of original programming in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, made enthusiastic remarks about Doctor Who while speaking at the Edinburgh TV Festival, Deadline reports. Though the trade notes, Keelan did not commit to renewing the BBC co-production deal beyond next year's season, which is overseen by showrunner Russell T Davies. He did have this to say: Doctor Who is a fabulous series. Obviously, in the UK, it's fully BBC, rightly so. We take rest of the world rights. Do you? That sounds a little bit worrying, but really, really happy to have it. I think just the quirkiness of it, the fact that it's in that sci-fi world, and when you think about what Disney offers in other regard, I think it feels like a really good fit to me. I mean, it's great to have it. Now, it didn't do well with Disney. It didn't chart on the Nielsen figures, even though people were like, "Oh, just wait for those to drop." I don't think it will, and it never did. It never went on there, not even on original. No, absolutely nothing. And they must be really, really worried. And Disney obviously are funding all this money, and they have just pulled the Acolyte because, well, to be quite frank, after the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, and you can't deny that is a massive success, they're probably realizing, oh, if we actually do good storytelling, then, we might actually make a bit of money. And if Doctor Who is technically losing money, I guess you could say, for them, because it didn't do well for them on the Nielsen figures, but whatever. And they learned from the Acolyte because they had to pull the Acolyte. But yeah, let's have a look, because, well, I posted these figures on my actual community post page. I am sorry, this is on the website because I had something else, but I'm not even sure now which one was the right figure in the first place. So I'm going to say these, but take them with a pinch of salt, because the other figure I'm not so sure about, but these were the ones that I reported initially. But prospectively, it says 2.60 million overnight for Space Babies, plus 7-day consolidated 4.01, 28, 5.6 million. Devil's Cord, 2.40 million. Consolidation to 3.91, 28, consolidation 5.2 million. Boom, 2.04 million. 7-day, 3.58 million. 28-day consolidation, 4.3 million. Overnight for 73 yards, 2.62 million. 7-day, 4.06 million. Consolidated 28-day, 5.2 million. Dot and Bubble, 2.12 million. 7-day, 3.38 million. 28-day, 4.3 million. So Rogue is 2.11 overnight, 7-day consolidation, 3.52 million. I'll just go to my one. I actually have the 28-day written down as 4.3 million. And then the Legend of Ruby Sunday, 2.02 million. 7-day consolidation, 3.50 million. And the 28-day is 4.4 million. Empire Death, 2.25 million. 7-day consolidated is 3.69 million. And then the 28-day is 4.4 million. Now, if I were Disney, seeing those figures worse than Jodie's last season, which was Flux, and of course the specials. I don't really count the specials, sort of, because they're just specials, but Flux being the more consistent of the specials. They were all over 5 million in 28-day consolidation. So they really are coping hard. And with the actual new spin-off coming, they've just also dropped a new cast member announcement in the guise of Ruth Madley, who actually was in the Star Beast. Doctor Who spin-off adds Ruth Madley and surprise Torchwood character in first look. The pair joined the previously announced Russell Tovey, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Gemma Redgrave, and Alexander Devrient. The cast of Doctor Who's spin-off series The War Between the Land and the Sea has assembled in a first look image with 2 new additions. Ruth Madley is now confirmed to be reprising her role as Unit Scientific Advisor Shirley Yang Bingham in the spin-off. Madley previously appeared as the character in Doctor Who two Doctor Who episodes, which aired in 2023, Starbeast and The Giggle. I actually forgot she was in The Giggle. Madley and McFarlane joined previously announced cast members Tovey, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Gemma Redgrave, and Alexandra Deviant. The complete cast can be seen in the photo from a table read that was released the other day. Announcing the show at the San Diego Comic-Con in 2024, Davies said of the series, "What happens when the Doctor isn't in town? That's what this show is about. How does the world cope?" And so we've got a 5-part spin-off coming called The War Between the Land and the Sea, which is the story of the Sea Devils from Doctor who are originally from 1972. Oh, great. So we're going to ruin the Sea Devils. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Sea Devils, but the story of the Sea Devils is a great story. You know, I appreciate them for what they are. There's a race that lives beneath the oceans. They wake up and they see the state of the oceans that we have put it in. We have wrecked the place and it's war. It's war on an epic scale. There's something off about that last statement, and I can't think what that is off the top of my head. No, maybe I'm just thinking about the Silurians, actually. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about the Silurians. It's okay. Uh, yeah, so I'm not a big fan of the spin-offs of any of the Doctor Who spin-offs. I didn't really ever take to them. It wasn't like a duck to water for me in that regard. I will be watching it to see how it is, but to be honest with you, it's been done before, so they're doing it again. But then we all know from what we've actually seen from Russell T Davies, who actually talks a load of absolute drivel half the time, that he likes repeating himself and he likes doing his own head canon. He likes announcing random things at Comic Con and in newspaper articles like the Radio Times, like the Doctor dying in Venice, David Tennant's Doctor, excuse me, which is an absolute just like what on earth is going on? So write a good show, Russell T Davies. So there you go, major cope. Okay, tomorrow we're going to take a look at the cope that is the fallout of the Acolyte. So make sure that you actually tune in for that tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to chat about it, don't shout about it. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.